So I have a layout for you today. We're going to do a sketch it, but we're also going to do a technique it, and it's going to be like tons and tons of fun. So I am going to work with these two sets of stamps. They are both ink road stamps. The one on the right is like an abstract circle stamp, or the one on the left is an abstract circle stamp. The one on the right is a boy mom set that I helped and collaborated on and helped create, and it's beautiful and I love it. So if you're interested in getting these stamps at all, you can swing over to my channel and check out this video on my channel, and there'll be a link below that you can use to get the stamps. So I'm going to be working with Cocoa Vanilla Studio products today. These wood veneer are from the You Rock collection, and then I also have elements from the Boys Rule collection. So I'm just going to heat emboss this using some platinum embossing powder from Altenew. And from the mood board this month, I chose to go with the metallics and the grays and blues and the colors. So we're not going to go with the feeling or the images in the mood board this month. We're just going to go with kind of those colors, the blacks, the whites, the blues, and then that little pop of the metallic that's there. And the metallic that I chose is going to be this platinum color. So you can see there how cute that wood veneer turned out. And then I'm also going to do the same thing with this wood veneer word, awesome. And I'm going to end up putting, I think I end up putting like 3 coats of embossing powder on the awesome. So the more coats of embossing powder that you put on things like wood veneers, or really anything that you emboss, the thicker a coat of embossing powder you put onto those elements, the smoother that embossing powder gets. So when I do the first layer, you'll see here like it's a little bumpy, but then by the time we get to that third layer, we have a beautiful smooth embellishment for our page. Sorry for the dark video there, my iPad was having some trouble. So there is our finished embellishment. You can see how smooth that is. So we're going to go ahead, and those are 2 of the embellishments we're going to create for this layout. So I'm going to show you here the circles on the sketch. I want to use my stamp sets to create circle elements for my page, and I'm going to do that by grabbing some hot press watercolor paper, which is the smooth one. And I'm going to kind of get an idea of how high my stamping needs to go. So I'm going to grab the biggest circle that I'm going to use, and I'm going to use the Boy Mom stamp. So I'm going to use all these different phrases. There are 3 or 4 phrases that are, they say things like double trouble, bros for life, and I think the third one says epic adventure. And those are the ones I'm going to use because I'm going to be scrapbooking a photo of both of my boys together. And what I'm going to do is I have this set of 4 inks from Altenew, and I'm going to create kind of an ombre pattern using those 3 stamps because the 3 stamps are very equal in height, so they will work well if you just kind of line them up and go ahead and ink them. So I'm going to use Sapphire, Caribbean Sky, and Arctic ink to create an ombre pattern on the bottom portion of this watercolor paper. So once I got into a groove here and knew how what my pattern was going to be for these words so they weren't near each other, I went ahead and was doing them 3 at a time. Just so you know, I started out doing 1 at a time, but I ended it doing 3 at a time. It still took a while, but I feel like it was totally worth it because these became quite a big part of my finished layout design. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit more heat embossing. So I'm taking the next largest circle, and I'm taking this stamp from the stamp set. That stamp says, I was trying to decide which one it would fit better in, but the stamp says, support wildlife, raise boys. And I want to use that one on my layout. So I'm going to start by grabbing again that platinum embossing powder, and I'm just going to heat emboss that sentiment onto the paper. Now I'm going to layer on top of that embossed sentiment some of these circle stamps. I'm going to use the same 3 colors that I used for the ombre pattern, and because the ink will resist the embossing, I can stamp right over and around my my embossed image, and it won't attach. The ink won't attach itself to the embossing, which is really nice. When everything's dry, you just take like a paper towel and kind of burnish the embossing, and you're good to go. So I'm just going to do this to fill in, because remember that circle we're going to use is rather big, and I wanted to fill that circle in with circles. So we have circles within circles. And then we have our embossed image. Okay, so I decided I wanted just a little bit more on this circle that has the support wildlife, raise boys sentiment. So I'm just dropping some Blue Jeans Shimmers Vibes and splattering it over. I went ahead and took my circle die cuts off camera, and I die cut all the circles so that they were finished. I figured die cutting is kind of, you know, paint drying type of activity. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut down all these papers. So these are all the papers I'm going to be using for my layout. They're all from the Boys Rule collection, and I have cut them all down to different sizes that I need them to be to go along with the mats and such for my photo. So there's my photo, and you can see how well it goes with these blue colors in the Boys Rule collection. I went through my collection and kind of pulled all the blues and grays and more neutral patterns to go with the colors that are in the mood board. I'm going to map my photos and just kind of cut everything down to what I refer to as manageable hunks, so that I can manipulate them and get them on the page in the way that I like them. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take these patterns and place them on the page. I follow the sketch fairly closely. My kind of contribution, or the part that's me, is all the extra pieces we've done for the layout, all the stamping and all of the embossing and things like that. So I'm going through, and everything's getting some ink, some Hickory Smoke ink, which is just a really good choice for this page. I don't know. I lost my words completely and forgot what I was going to say. I am fixing my photo here because it was like super crooked and it was bothering me. So I'm just going to take these 3 circles that I have, and I'm going to start with those and kind of decide where I want them. And then I'm going to move on to some of the other pieces that I pulled from the collection that I want to use. I'm going to use that large heat embossed awesome as part of my title. And I've added some free stickers up to the top. I'm also going to go ahead and add a die cut there in a couple minutes and move some of those things around. And so my title is going to be Awesome Brothers, and I'm going to grab this clear sticker to create that title. If I seem to be suddenly moving a little bit slower and putting this together a little bit slower, it's because my nephew, who is 3, FaceTimed me, and he is off to the side on my phone talking to me about all of his books and trains and all those things, which was a crazy distraction as I was finishing up this layout, but, you know, it's all good. So I adhered this wood veneer using some Nouveau Deluxe adhesive, and then I have my camera die cut that I've added to the top. And I love how that embossing powder is something that's in all 3 of my clusters and things like that. So I think this is pretty much the end of the layout. I don't think I do too much more to it other than to write the date at the bottom of it. And this is actually the one of 2 sketch projects you can see on the Crafty Maven today. The second one is over on our blog. And that is by the Paper Addict, who is one of our brand new design team members. And she has a blog post over on the channel, over on the Crafty Maven blog, with another sketch and another layout and another take on our mood board. But this is going to pretty much complete the layout today. I'm just going to go ahead and write the year we took this picture at the bottom. And again, if you're interested in any of those stamps, you can head over to my channel for all the product links for them. I'm just going to add a little bit of like scripty writing, and that will complete this. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Crafty Maven, and be very sure to head over to the blog and to check out the other amazing layout that we have to share with you today. I will see you all again very soon. Bye!